The alien woman froze when the human whispered, "You're beautiful." She had never heard the word before. Beautiful. The syllables rolled through the recycled air of the Terran ship like music, alien yet gentle. Her kind didn't have a word for something that simply was, something that existed without needing purpose or utility. On Nareth Prime, every sound, every color, every life form served a function. Beauty was not one of them. She turned slowly, her translucent skin rippling with bioluminescent light that mirrored her pulse. The human, Dr. Elias Carter, stood at the observation window, eyes fixed on her rather than the vast nebula beyond. He looked small in his sterile white coat, a creature of carbon and curiosity. "What did you say?" she asked, her voice carrying a faint resonance like a chord played on glass. Elias smiled, hesitant but sincere. "I said, you're beautiful." Her crest flickered, a sign of confusion or perhaps mild irritation. "Explain. Beautiful. It is not a measurable attribute." He chuckled softly, the sound echoing strangely in the metallic chamber. "You're right. It's not measurable. It's when something stirs something inside you. Something beyond logic." She tilted her head, studying him. "Illogical sensation. You mean chemical imbalance, if you like," he said, still smiling. "But we humans call it emotion." Her name, at least the one he could pronounce, was Kara. The Nareth delegation had arrived 3 months prior, seeking alliance and exchange. The humans offered medicine, technology, and a dozen forms of music. The Nareth offered quantum lattice drives and biological architecture. Kara was the science envoy, the youngest ever allowed off-world. She had studied humans as one might study a peculiar microorganism. Fascinating, inconsistent, and dangerously emotional. But Elias was different from the others. He didn't treat her like an experiment or a fragile guest. He asked questions no one else did. Like, how does your light change color when you dream? Or do your people have stories? And once, do you ever feel lonely in a universe this big? She hadn't known how to answer that. The station orbited the blue gas giant Tyralis, where plasma storms painted ribbons of light across the dark. Every evening, Elias came to the observation deck, and Kara found herself drawn there too. Sometimes they talked about science. Sometimes they simply watched the storms in silence. Tonight, though, something was different. Kara had been scheduled to return to her homeworld in 3 days. Her research exchange was complete. Protocol dictated that no prolonged personal attachments were to form between species. Too many variables, too many risks of emotional contamination, as her superiors phrased it. And yet, she found herself standing beside Elias again. He didn't speak at first. Instead, he placed a small object on the railing between them, a flower, pressed and laminated. "It's from Earth," he said. "A daisy. One of the first living things to grow in off-world soil." Kara leaned closer. The white petals shimmered faintly under her bioluminescence. "Fragile," she observed. "Maybe," Elias said. "But it survives almost anywhere, even where it shouldn't." She looked at him then, the glow of her skin casting pale blue shadows on his face. "Why give this to me?" He hesitated, searching for words that didn't sound foolish. "Because I wanted you to have something that means life, hope, maybe. Something you'd remember." She studied the flower again. "You believe I will forget you." He exhaled a short, nervous laugh. "I hope you won't, but your people, your time, your mind, it's all so different. You'll go back to your world and I'll stay here, and maybe you'll decide none of this mattered." She reached out, one delicate webbed hand hovering over his. "It matters," she said quietly. "I do not yet understand why, but it matters." Later that night, Elias couldn't sleep. His quarters felt too small, too sterile. He replayed her words, "It matters," over and over. He knew what the regulations said. Emotional involvement with alien diplomats was prohibited. Yet every logical argument dissolved when he thought of her eyes, those layered orbs of shifting light, like galaxies refracted through water, and beneath that beauty, a mind sharper than any human's, curious and cautious in equal measure. He turned over in bed and whispered into the darkness, "She's not even human," but another voice inside him replied, "She's more alive than anyone you've ever known." Kara, too, could not find rest. Her quarters pulsed dimly with her shifting colors. A Nareth's body was a map of emotion whether they wished it or not. Blue for calm, green for thought, Now, streaks of crimson threaded through her skin. It was dangerous to feel this way. Emotion was considered a primitive residue in her species, something evolution had nearly erased. Yet around Elias, something ancient awoke in her, something she could not classify or suppress. She opened her communication console and recorded a private note to her ship's log. Observation 76, human emotion is not disorder. It is energy, raw, unpredictable, but powerful. Elias Carter displays attachment behaviors correlated with affection. I find myself reciprocating. This is not rational, and yet I wish not to stop. Her crest dimmed to violet, color of uncertainty. If this is contamination, then perhaps it is the most beautiful kind. The next day brought chaos. A Nareth shuttle in orbit malfunctioned, its power core destabilizing, threatening to collapse into a micro-singularity. The human station scrambled emergency crews, but the Nareth protocols were incompatible with Terran tech. Kara was the only one who could interface directly with the core. She insisted on going. Elias tried to stop her. It's suicide. The containment field could collapse at any second. She met his gaze calmly. My neural interface can stabilize it. Your machines cannot. If I fail, at least your station survives. He grabbed her arm. Kara, please, there has to be another way. She looked down at his hand, then at his eyes. Elias, she said softly, you once asked if I feel lonely in this universe. I think I understand now. Loneliness is knowing there is something, or someone, you will never see again. And before he could speak, she turned and ran. The shuttle hung adrift like a wounded insect, its metallic hull buckling under gravitational strain. Kara entered through the decompression hatch, her body adjusting automatically to the radiation levels. She linked her neural tendrils to the core's bioconduits. Energy surged through her system like molten fire. Her vision fractured, past, present, and probability merging into one. The singularity pulsed at the edge of collapse. Containment sequence engaged. She thought, her mind reached into the field, weaving stabilization patterns faster than any machine. But the strain was immense. She felt her physical form disintegrating at the edges, light bleeding into void. Through the static of her comm, she heard Elias's voice. Kara, you're losing cohesion. Shut it down. If I do, she gasped, the field will fail. You will all die. Then we'll die together. No, Elias, you must live. Someone has to remember. And with one final surge of energy, she stabilized the core. The shuttle fell silent. Then, light. Blinding, endless light. When Elias awoke, he was in the infirmary. The shuttle had been retrieved, empty, save for faint bioluminescent residue. The Nareth delegation declared Kara deceased, her essence absorbed by the energy field she saved, but Elias refused to believe she was gone. In the weeks that followed, he scoured every log, every data fragment. The Nareth called her sacrifice a logical act of preservation. They felt no grief, but humans across the station mourned her, especially him. He kept the daisy on his desk. Sometimes, late at night, when the lights dimmed and the nebula storms flared, he thought he saw a flicker of blue in the reflection, soft, familiar light that faded when he blinked. Months later, the Nareth sent a final transmission to Earth, a gift of upgraded drive technology, dedicated to Kara of Nareth Prime, who found harmony among the stars. Elias was chosen to test the new drive. As the ship powered up, the hum of the engines resonated at a strange, haunting frequency. It was not mechanical, it was almost melodic, he smiled. Kara, he whispered. Is that you? And then faintly, the lights along the console flickered in a pattern only he would recognize. The same bioluminescent pulse she used when she laughed. 3 slow beats. Pause. Too quick. Her way of saying, yes. The first hyperspace jump was unlike any before. Instead of the usual disorienting warp, the ship seemed to glide through ribbons of luminescent mist. Within that mist, Elias saw flashes, visions of Kara's form, radiant and serene, her essence woven into the fabric of space itself. She wasn't dead. Not entirely. She had become something new, part of the quantum lattice she once studied, her consciousness diffused but alive. He could feel her presence like starlight brushing his thoughts. Elias, her voice whispered within him, soft and clear, you called me beautiful. I understand now. Beauty is not what can be measured. It is what endures. Tears blurred his vision. Kara, I thought I lost you. You did not lose me. You helped me become infinite. He reached toward the starlit mist, though he knew he could never touch her again. Will I see you? Always. Every time you look at the light between worlds, years passed. The Nerith-human alliance flourished. Interstellar travel became routine. Yet no one spoke of Kara's sacrifice except in hushed reverence, half myth, half science. Elias grew older, his hair silvering like the stars he still chased. But he never stopped visiting the observation deck, never stopped whispering to the void. And sometimes, when the storms of Taralis flared in the distance, the nebula would shimmer faintly in shades of B.